Hello, this is Dr. Gregg Mays with Your Word Wednesday. This week, I want to share something with you that I pray will help you understand why I'm such a fanatic for God. Why am I so sold out for God? It's simple. For no reason, for nothing that I've ever done nor deserved, God, time and time again, shows himself to me. Very recently, I got to watch God move in mine and my wife's life in real time. I can't wait to tell you about it. In Matthew's book, Jesus said, go into all the land. Take the word, share it, teach it, preach to every man. Just do his will, because he always has a master plan. It's not your... After Moses died, Joshua is given the task of taking the Israelites into the promised land. And God is guiding him, and he reminds Joshua of something that Moses told the Israelites in Deuteronomy. Watch what God says. I'm going to read verse 6, Joshua chapter 1, verse 6 through 9. Here's what he says. He says, be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. And I love this. He said all of that, and then God doubles all the way down. He says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Now, those are the words that God said to, I almost dropped my glasses. Those are the words that God said to Joshua to encourage him as he's ready to go and take and lead the Israelites into the promised land. So that promise to Joshua is a promise to you as well. Different circumstances. You have a different task that God is giving you, but make no mistake about it, he is with you. He wants you to be strong and courageous. He wants you to be in his word, keeping his word on your lips, his law on your lips. Now he's talking about, and we could get into that, and I don't want to dive deep in it. I understand the law that he's talking about, the law that Moses had written, or he had given to Moses, God had given to Moses. But I'm talking about the task at hand. I'm talking about you being in your word. I'm talking about you seeking God at every turn. So I want to share with you a little bit more of the testimony my wife and I shared recently on the podcast. My wife was about to travel to South Korea. Now, she has been on oxygen therapy for a while, a couple of years, maybe 3 years, maybe even longer by now. And we have purchased we've had three portable oxygen concentrators. And the third one that she had is the one that she was planning to take with her to Korea. And we've shared a bit of the story on here, so I'm not going to rehash that, all of it, but you can go back and look on the May 11th Agape Leaders Podcast, and you can get that story from the both of us. But starting on that Monday, May the 4th, my wife is at the airport and I'm at school. I get a phone call. I look down at my watch and I see my watch is vibrating. I look down and it's my wife. Now I know my wife is supposed to be getting on an airplane. And so I need to take this call. I'm sorry to my boss, the principal there at George Higgins High School. I needed to take that call and I prayed that I would have some grace there. I answer the phone and my wife says, yes, it is an emergency. She's stuck and she cannot get on this flight because of the portable oxygen concentrator that she has. So I'm not going to rehash all of that because you already know that I ultimately went to go pick her up. She tried desperately. I tried desperately to get her on that flight, but the people from the airline would not allow it. Thank you, God, that they would not allow it. It was like God put an obstacle there, a very important obstacle. So as I'm driving to get my wife, I'm on the phone, hands-free, talking to the doctor's office. And I talked to two different doctor's office, two different pulmonologist office that my wife had seen. Because there's a letter that she has to get. And so I say, hey, we need this letter. Okay, thank you, blah, blah, blah. They start writing the letter, start doing their work in both different places. I pick up my wife. She's okay now, but she wasn't earlier. And as we're going home, say, hey, you want to go try to pick up these letters? So we went to pick up one letter. It was in one part of town. If you're from the area, I'll tell you where we had to get one from Wesley Chapel and the other from Brandon. So they're not that close together, but they're not that far apart either. So we went and we got both of these letters. And as we're doing that, my wife's on the phone and she's talking to the place where she has her at-home oxygen concentrator. And they say, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, watch this. You got approved back in March for a portable oxygen concentrator. Now, we purchased the one that she had with our own money, but insurance had already approved one for her. We didn't even realize it. It's like God had already set the stage because he knew in 2 months we were going to need that. And so in the conversation, before we could get home, there was a letter my wife needed to have to give to the airline. We had that letter in hand. There was a particular, well, it's not just one, there are several on a list. It's called the FAA approved portable oxygen concentrators. Before we got home, we already had the inside scoop on one of those, and we were going to be getting it, not for free, but just paying a monthly fee that was a lot less than paying. These things are very expensive. Then we had to get some batteries. My wife started working on that. So this is Monday. By Wednesday, we had ordered all the batteries that we needed. We had the letters that we needed. We already had the portable oxygen concentrator. We had it. I mean, God was just removing obstacles. There was one obstacle we couldn't overcome. And then after that, couldn't overcome that obstacle because we weren't supposed to. Then all of a sudden, everything we needed started falling into place. And this is the one where my wife and I knew God is moving in real time. Friday night, well, late afternoon, early evening. I'm trying to get some information to the airline so that they can approve her getting on the flight with all of this oxygen and batteries. That was the last step that we had to take. Friday, I send the request, I fill it all out, I send the request. My wife says, all right, they close at 5 o'clock or some time, and it was after that. She said, they close at that time, we'll probably hear back Monday. My wife gets a phone call. I think she got an email, no, she got a phone call. She looked down at the phone and it said, potential spam. Now, you guys know we don't answer those calls. But she said, it was something I knew I needed to answer that call. So she answered the call. It was the people from Delta Airlines. I don't know why this person was working late, but they did. They got the information about her extra batteries and say, check your email. And she checked her email, approved. We couldn't even get out of the week. Something that really should have taken us a whole bunch of time. God had already set all the wheels in motion. And so by the time we laid our heads on the pillow Friday night, watch this, the Friday before Mother's Day. How about that? The Friday before Mother's Day, We had already had everything we needed. All we needed to do now was spend another week together just hanging out, and we did. We had a good time just hanging out, and Thursday night before, I think it was Thursday night, one of those nights, she and I went to dinner together. We had an impromptu dinner date, and I don't remember what we did Friday. We just kind of hung out. We just had a great week, the two of us. And I spent a little bit of time with two of my brothers. But what am I getting at? If you will do what God has called you to do, trust Him, meditate on the Word. When difficult times come, God can push every obstacle out of the way. And I do not doubt for 1 second that that's what He did. He did not have to do that. I'm not telling you, oh, if you're in that situation, He's going to do that for you. I'm not telling you that because it may not be true. But you know what it is true? It was true for my wife and I. I watched God move things out of the way. And it wasn't even difficult. We weren't even trying to. We were trying hard on that Monday. We tried everything to get her on that plane. Nope. And then I was trying to get her on as early as I could. And she said, nope, I'm flying out on the day of the ticket that I already have, because they changed the ticket for her. And she did not want to. And I believe that even that was the peace of God saying, nope, because if I hurried and flew her out, we don't get that date night. We don't get that dinner together that we enjoy. I randomly said I wanted to go to a particular restaurant. I'm not saying the name because, free sponsorship. But I wanted to go to a particular restaurant. And I just said it. I said, oh, while you're gone, I'm going to go to there. And she said, no, we just go on this day before I leave. Okay. And we did. And so all these things that we did leading up to her leaving, I'm giving all that honor, glory, and credit to God. God allowed us to see Him move in real time. Can I tie this up and give you something to walk away with? God allowed the Israelites to see Him move in real time. When they stepped into the Jordan and then the Jordan waters split, you see that in the book of Joshua. God was allowing the Israelites to see Him move in real time. But you know what? They started disobeying Him. You know what? God is moving in my life. And if I'm not careful, I too can get into disobedience. God is moving in your life and maybe you don't see it. Can I encourage you not to be disobedient? Can I encourage you not to willfully sin? Because God is using the church to get His message out. And I heard a pastor say this, it is time out for all that other foolishness. I want to make this plea, and this is kind of a side note plea before I finish. Are you a person who has been hurt by the church? You're not going back into the church. Would you connect with Agape Leaders Christian Fellowship Ministry? Allow us to begin speaking with you, praying with you, ministering to you. Join us on our lives, because we don't believe that you were hurt by God. You may have been hurt by a body of believers because they're human. But I don't believe for 1 second that God stood in your path and hurt you so that you wouldn't come to Him. I want to encourage you. Give Agape Leaders Christian Fellowship Ministry a chance. God is moving in and through this ministry, and we want to be a part of your seeing Him move and coming back to Him so that you may then turn around and begin bringing others back. I pray that this is a blessing for you. And remember, stay strong. So what you waiting for? Someone to feel the pain some more, because you ain't share the love, the grace you found within the Father's care. To share the love of God is more than just a simple job. It's Christ speaking the off of Holy Spirit's law. Share it.